Oh my god. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. This is like part 4 of trying to get this shit to work, and now I have to copy the link on Patreon, because the link that I had, um, was shit. So I'm not sure, I honestly am not sure what happened. Um, I have 2 laptops. I have an old ass laptop, which is I usually like, do my live streams on, and then I've got this one that I'm using now, which is my new laptop. Um And my old laptop, I think it's just in its like last dying legs. Um, so I guess I'll have to play around with it more to see if it is in fact on its last dying legs. I don't know. Uh, but there we go. So now I think everything's good. Um, let's try this again. So welcome to my Sunday live stream. Again, I'm sorry for the confusion. It's almost like when I first started doing live streams, it was nothing but confusion and just terrible timing and just inability to manage things. And then it got good for a while, and now it's back to being bad again. But hopefully, I'll fix that in the future, and things will be better. I am going to change this lighting situation so that you can see my face better. So I'll be right back. Oh God! Oh, let there be light. Okay. All right, I'm back. Okay. So I'm filming on my laptop today because well, my second laptop, because my first laptop pooped out right when I was trying to start the stream. So happy. Um so the picture isn't as great as it would be using my Sony camera, but it's not bad. So today we're just doing a regular ass get ready with me. I'm going to be filming some TikTokies today. Because I'm running low on my drafts. Uh, and we're just gonna chat. Weekly roundup. I don't know. Hey, hey, David. Sorry about that. um. So yeah, weekly roundup, chit chat. Uh, let's get some music going on my Pandora. And the look that I'm gonna be doing is kind of like a gothy kind of a look. Um, Not a particular character that I already have. It's just gonna basically gonna do some like acting TikToks and stuff. Oh hey Isaac. Um so yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm not gonna narrate how I'm doing my makeup. Just because I think you guys have probably seen it often enough that you don't really need to and probably don't really care. And we'll just talk. So most importantly, is trial. And I know I probably talk about that every time I do my live, but right now it's my entire life at this moment. And it's in 2 weeks. I mean, like, on the one hand, I just want it to be done and over with. I'm sick of stressing about it. But on the other hand, it's 2 weeks. I'm just gonna try not to think about it. But apparently that shit has been super duper stressful to me to the point where like consciously I didn't realize how stressed out I was. Until like this past week was awful. I had 3 marketing events scheduled, and I completed 2 of those marketing events. One marketing event was a seminar that I put on with a couple of colleagues of mine on Tuesday. And then another marketing event was actually that same day, and I had to meet a bunch of old rich white guys out to dinner where honestly, I don't even know why I was there. My boss, and when I say my boss, I mean like the president of the entire ass firm, was like, "Hey, we need a blocker and a tackler," and I'm like, "I don't know what that means." To show off to these guys, I'm like, "For what purpose?" He's like, "I don't really know." I was like, "Do they know we're gonna be there?" He's like, "Not really." So, what it ended up being was several businessmen who are trying to get this takeout company up and going for another larger insurance company in the state of Florida. And I guess they wanted somebody there who had a working knowledge of, I guess, the legal landscape for this particular insurance company. So that's why I was there. I was volunteered by my second boss. I have like boss who was like the president, and my second boss who was like my boss. Um, so I literally walked in and I had no idea what to expect. Um, so I wore like I'm a weirdo, and I'm about to divulge much of my weirdness to you guys. So here you go. But I wore like my power outfit. It was like pair of trousers and like a button-up shirt. I wore men's cologne. And I actually did research on what drink to order to impress people. And every single article that I read um, gave me a list of pre-prohibition cocktails with the old fashioned. I also love the weird, which is why I am the way I am. The old fashioned was on the top of every single list that I looked, and I'm not a big bourbon fan. I dare say I'm not a bourbon fan at all. I just bourbon, um, or any brown liquid within that family. I'm not a huge fan of. So I was like, yeah, but it would be really impressive if I ordered an old fashioned in front of these old rich white guys. Um, And it was funny because, like the week before, I was talking to my dad, who is also an attorney, and he's been doing this a while. And he gets out there and he does the schmoozing things and he does the networking thing. So I was telling him about it. And he's like, they're not going to care what drink you order. They're going to care the words that come out of your mouth. They're going to care about you as a human and your personality. And that was so not the case. I was so wrong. He was so off the mark on that because I show up and the moment they're like, what do you want to drink? And they were all like looking at me to see what I'd order. Like, just fucking big old rich white men. And I'm like 5'1" and like 99 pounds soaking wet, wearing men's cologne and like trousers and a button up and like big makeup. I looked weird. Um, and I was like, I'll take an old fashioned. And they're like collective, like, and then they they were all like, what kind of bourbon would you like? As if it were a test. And I was like, because I had done the research, right? Because again, I'm not a bourbon fan. So I was like, all right, what is the smoothest bourbon that I can find that's not going to be like $60 a shot? And it was Angel's Envy. So I was like, Angel's Envy. And it was another collective gasp. And apparently that was very impressive. Because they wouldn't stop talking about it the entire goddamn night. Like I could sit there and talk about the law, which was why I was there, and they didn't care. They're like, yeah, but what other bourbons do you like drinking? And like, here, I'll. By the way, these when I say rich, they were knocking back shots of 25 Macallan. Like these dudes, we were. I don't remember what we were. I think we were talking about. We were at a seafood restaurant and some of us were native Floridians, and so like we were kind of swapping stories about like eating on the docks and like watching the fishing boats come up with the fish that were going to be served that day at that restaurant. And so we started talking about boats, and and one of the questions to one of the guys was, well, what kind of boat do you have? And he's like, I have four. Which one? And I was just like, shit. But this guy had four. One of those four boats was like a 50-foot yacht or something. So like fucking rich, fucking rich. Like I rolled up to that restaurant and I parked next to a Rolls Royce. Like that was the atmosphere here. And before I walked out, like one of the guys was like, he was sloshed. Dude was sloshed. He's like, I'll buy you a bottle of 25-year Macallan. And I was like, no, 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 that's really not necessary. I'm fine. I wouldn't drink it anyway. Um, I did have a sip of the 25 Macallan, and it was drinkable. And I probably would have taken a bottle of 25 if he had offered. But he did offer, but I politely declined because again he was sloshed. And a bottle of 25-year Macallan is how much is it? Let's see, 25-year Macallan. I gotta look it up because I think it's in the thousands. Ooh. Yeah, like $2,500 for a bottle of Macallan. Yeah, I know. I should have said Guinness. Um, I wouldn't have probably drunk the Guinness. I drank the old fashioned. It was actually quite tasty. Angel's Envy, by the way, Angel's Envy bourbon is quite tasty for bourbon. Coming from somebody who doesn't drink bourbon. Okay. All right. So I gotta get started on this makeup, y'all. So that was my night. And that was a Tuesday night. And I ended up staying out until like fucking 10 o'clock at night. I drove the Nezuko Corvette because the only other car that I have is a 21-year-old Jeep Cherokee that's lifted and it's all covered in pollen. So I figured maybe not that car. Maybe we do the cartoon car. And at the very worst, it'll just be a talking point, conversation point, right? Sour mash whiskey. So is that a cocktail? Because I've heard of whiskey smashes and I've heard of bourbon smashes. In fact, I drank one yesterday with Maker's Mark, which was a terrible decision. Should have gotten Angels Envy. We went to. I'll tell you all about what happened yesterday. Yesterday was an adventure too. So yeah, so that was that night, and apparently I impressed everybody because one of the guys like yelled at my boss from across the table. He's like, "Hey, good job with this one." I was like, "Am I a fucking dog? What? You should bring her more often." Like, oh God, no, I don't know. Don't bring me more often. Don't do this. I don't want to hang because next time you're gonna make me smoke chingaz. I really don't want to do that. Jack Daniels. I actually haven't had. Yes, I have. Jack Daniels isn't bad. So yeah, so that was my night, and I got home again at like 10 o'clock, and then the next morning I woke up and like I had one old fashioned and half a glass of wine that night. I don't like drinking during the week because I have to wake up and have to function the next morning, right? So I'm trying to find my life right now. I'm going to use this palette, this big palette, if I can get it open. So I woke up the next morning just feeling awful, like I don't know. I felt like I had just taken 3 shots of NyQuil. Like that was the feeling I had when I woke up on Wednesday morning. And I was like, I didn't drink that much. Like, what the fuck? No, I did not used to be a bartender. I've just always had kind of a fascination with the bartending culture and drinks and cocktails and mixology. I find it fascinating. So I try and make myself knowledgeable about it. But so anyway, so I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And sometimes, sometimes if I do something that's super uncomfortable or stressful, like the night before, and I go to bed and I wake up the next morning, I feel bad. It's usually just like the leftover stress. But when that was like a whole nother level, and usually it like goes away. Like once I have a cup of coffee, it's gone. It's fine. It lasted the entire goddamn day, and it actually lasted all of Wednesday, all of Thursday, and most of Friday, and it was terrifying because not only was it like I was feeling woozy and dizzy and like extremely fatigued. I mean, I felt like I was just going through my day after having had 3 shots of NyQuil. Like it was awful. And I was a dumbass and went on my runs, which was like one was a 5-mile run, one was a 4-mile run, and one was a 3-mile run, like a fucking idiot. And I get home, and of course that made it way worse. And so I mean, it got to the point where it was just like doing just raising my hand was a chore. Like have you guys ever it's like you're in that state of kind of wakefulness and sleep and you're just kind of just now waking up and it's like you're so comfy, you're just kind of like sinking into the bed and you don't want to lift like your limbs. That's how it felt. Like it was fucking terrifying. So I did research on what the hell it could be. I did not go to a doctor. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Like if anything that's like weird like that ever happens, you seek medical help. Don't do as I do. I sought zero medical help except for WebMD. Also, don't do that. So I don't think I'm an alcoholic. I don't, because I feel like the definition of alcoholism is just like not being able to function on a day-to-day basis without like turning to alcohol. And I don't think that's what this was. And I only had a drink and a half a glass of wine, and I didn't drink anything else the rest of that week. So anyway, so I did research, and I want to say it's either just like stress does weird shit to your body, or PMDD, which it's gonna sound gross, but it's basically like take PMS, like the symptoms of PMS, and just like multiply it by a million, and that's PMDD. Specifically the extreme fatigue, the weakness, and the foggy headedness. So I do not have a drink every day, actually. I usually have a drink on Wednesday nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Those are usually the days that I have drinks. And I try and keep within the 7 drink a week recommended daily, or not daily, but recommended like weekly consumption. Sometimes I go over, sometimes I don't drink that much. I'm also very small, so like alcohol probably has a more pronounced effect on me. But so yeah, so that was fucking scary, and not something that I ever want to have to go through again. It was part of the reason I didn't post anything on like Thursday. I was just fucking, I was at it. I was zonked. I was a zombie. I was a walking zombie. Well, that's an oxymoron because zombies necessarily have to be walking, otherwise they're just dead. Anyway, so I got, well, my husband was wonderful and went out and bought me iron supplements because I read that part of that is just a low iron deficiency, and I don't eat a lot of meat. I don't eat a lot of things that have iron in it naturally, and I don't take vitamins except for now I'm taking them. And some just like vitamin B and shit like that, multivitamins and shit. And I tell you what, after 2 days of taking the iron supplement and the multivitamins, I am feeling right as rain. I'm feeling much better. Still cutting down on the drinking because drinking like alcohol is a downer, and I don't want to encourage those feelings again. So I almost didn't go, hey Joe. Yeah, like I like I said, I mean, I think the recommended weekly drink allowance for women is 7 drinks a week, basically a drink a day. And a drink I think is like an ounce of alcohol, or I think it's like 6 ounces of wine. There's like it differs based on the level of alcohol in the actual thing that you are consuming. But like I said, I mean, I'm a cheap date. Like you take me out, give me 2 drinks, and I'm fucking done for the night. But anyway, so yeah, I'm feeling much better now, and I'm going to continue taking those multivitamins and the iron supplement, and hopefully, you know, preempt that next time around. It could happen, and I think also like just the stress of trial. Um, stress. I mean, like stress does all kinds of shitty things. It can cause your period to come earlier than regular. It can cause all kinds of things that are not great. So that's probably part of it. But so yeah, I was almost not going to go to the Amazing Wonderful Car Show that I did actually go to because like itchy nose. It's like an hour away, hour and a half away from where we live, and I was like, I'm feeling foggy headed and dizzy, and probably getting into a car and driving an hour and a half away, or driving anywhere for that matter. It's not a great idea. But I felt much better, and I did end up going, and I'm really glad I did because it was so much fun, you guys. So Clean Culture is, I believe, is a national car show. So they have shows in most states here, several shows in our state. I think several shows in Texas and several shows in New Jersey. But it's basically just a big car show, and it's called Clean Culture. I honestly I'm sure they explain why it's called Clean Culture and like what their theme is on their website, but I haven't actually looked at it. But from my understanding, it's basically like cars that are modified cleanly. Like tastefully and classily. You don't see classic cars there. You don't see like unmodified cars there. Most of the cars at these clean culture events are modified in some way. Some have body kits, some have really cool wraps or paint jobs, some have like crazy engine builds, some have crazy interior like modifications. Like I saw no less than 3 slammed minivans. Like that's the kind of shit that you see there. And it's just really cool. They had food trucks and like um all kinds of vendors, and I actually entered my car and got in, but because my car is a plebeian car, it was relegated to the outdoors rather than the indoors where all the like super duper fancy cars were. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my m- I will not say this person's name, but this person's uncle is an alcoholic, and he's homeless now. Like extreme alcoholism. I mean, this person would hide alcohol in his room so that nobody would so that when he actually left his room and had just like a glass of wine or something, nobody would see that and think, oh, that's weird. No, he like bottles of rum hidden in this guy's room, and like the liter bottles, and he would go through one of those liter bottles of rum a day. And that's obviously extreme alcoholism. Like this guy, he went to the hospital because he fell down and hurt his back. But of course, they're not gonna give you alcohol in the hospital, right? So his heart stopped while he was in the hospital due to withdrawal from alcohol. That is alcoholism. And I think if I Google alcoholism, there are other like certain telltale symptoms for it. I'm not going to sit here and purport to know or be a psychologist or psychiatrist. But my understanding is alcoholism is essentially where it gets to a point where you are unable to complete normal daily routines without turning to alcohol. Or when you are obsessing over it, like you can't get through a day without thinking I need a drink, or when you actually have physical symptoms of withdrawal or whatever. I think that's alcoholism. Drinking, 2 or 3 drinks more than what the weekly recommended amount is not alcoholism. Talking a lot about mixology is not alcoholism. Alcoholism is a psychological thing. It's a psychological disorder. Um, I hope that cleared it up. Yeah, right, exactly. Maybe not cars. Maybe that's actually a really bad idea. Um, but yeah, so the clean culture event was a lot of fun. I did not stay for the entire thing because I wanted to get home, and I did not want to be around when people who have been drinking all day got back into their cars and did stupid shit. Um, I mean, most of these, although I say that, but most of these car shows that people behave. People behave because they want to continue going to these car shows, and of course, if you have 50,000 drunk drivers getting into their very souped up cars and doing stupid shit, the county's not going to allow that. So they usually self-regulate themselves very well. But I didn't, I just wanted to be home. I didn't want to have to. I went with my brother and his friends, and they got a hotel room, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to sleep in my own bed. So I came home. But I got to see, and I did actually post some of the videos that I took on my Nesvet account. And I got to see some really cool, um, like people were revving, and you could see like fireballs like coming out of their exhaust, and that was super cool, super loud. It sounded like gunfire, and not just regular ass gunfire. It sounded like somebody took like a Desert fucking Evil and just, um, very loud, but also very cool. I will post the vidges of the fireballs on my Nesvet page without a sound over it, so you guys can actually hear how loud it was. It was so loud. And like, there's this one car. It like, apparently, souping up the interior of your car is also like another thing. It's like another like subsect of this culture. And we got like this one guy had, I think it was a Hyundai Optima. No, an Optima, that is a Kia. A Hyundai. What's the Optima version of it? I think it's the Genesis. Anyway, it was a Hyundai. And that dude, like, the interior of that car looked like it belonged in a Rolls Royce. What he did to that, it was so cool. It was he had a chandelier in the car, dude. He had a cooler for Hennessy. He had a hookah thing like inside the car. It was so cool, and it was so well done. It was so tastefully done. I loved it. I got a picture of that, and I will also post that on my Instagram. Um, but yeah, so that was all yesterday. I didn't get home until around like 9 o'clock yesterday because traffic. There was a terrible accident on I-4 coming home. Like some guy had rolled off of the street into a ditch, and the car was upside down. Somebody absolutely died. But we got there after I think the ambulance had come and gone, and they were just trying to figure out how to get the car out of the ditch. But that was anybody who's ever driven on I-4 is like, oh, I-4, say no more. Say no more. So yeah. And of course, like going there, I got the bug. I was like, oh, I got to do more stuff to my car. I already planned on doing more stuff to the car. Like I want to get a big old wang to put on the back. Probably no engine modifications. Chevy has engineered that car very well, and I don't really want to muck around with what they've already done. The only thing I might do to the engine, it's a big mod, don't get me wrong, but just because of the nature of the engine and how it's engineered and like the other cars in their line, I might put a supercharger on it, which essentially just means I'm turning my car, which is a Grand Sport, into a Z06. Because the Z06 is essentially that same engine block with a supercharger smacked on top. Now they do some, modifications to the Z06's engine, just like reinforcing certain parts of the engine so it can handle the supercharger, which is probably something I need to do to my Grand Sport. And that's like a $13,000 job. But not something I'm going to do anytime soon, but something I'm considering maybe doing in the future. Now the wang on the back, that's like a $1,300 thing, and I can probably save up for a couple of years and get that done without much issue. But yeah. Otherwise, just trying not to be super stressed out with trial coming up. I was so hoping that plaintiff was going to settle that stupid case. It's such a bad case for him. And honestly, I honestly am at a loss as to why they are like the judge has already, I'm not going to say she's basically already ruled in our favor, but I mean, picking up cues here and there, I think we're in pretty good shape. But why wouldn't you want to try a case that you're going to win, you might ask? Because it's fucking stressful. It's fucking because I have to up and move essentially for a whole ass week to a separate county where I have to live out of a hotel for a whole ass week, away from my house, away from my dog, away from my cats, away from my email. Not away from my email. No, in fact, that's even a bigger source of stress because not only do I have to focus all in on this trial, but I also have to keep my other 150 cases going because I don't have any help. So it's going to suck. But once it's over, it'll be over. And, honestly, I don't care if we win or lose. I'd like to win. That'd be great to have a win under my belt. But I get paid either way. So one of the reasons I will never be a plaintiff's attorney. Never. Or at least never work on a contingency basis, because fuck that. Like Morgan & Morgan can do shit like that because they're richer than God. But if I opened up my own shop, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I would never work for Morgan & Morgan or Nation Law or any of those big plaintiffs firms. Fuck that. So yeah, I think once that trial is over, I will be feeling much better. I will not be as stressed out. And trial, and I probably won't have to go to another trial for another several years just because where the hell is my therapist? Because not a lot of things go to trial. Most things settle. This is the first trial I will be attending in 5 years. So hopefully I won't have to go to another trial for another several years. I won't have to deal with this. Maybe even by that time I'll be out of litigation and I'll be like a mediator. I don't know. It was funny. I had a conversation with my parents and I was talking about, trial. And they're like, oh, that's great. You must be excited. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not cut out for this shit. I don't want to do it. um, they're like, ooh, that's not a great feeling to have because that's literally your job. And I was like, well, yeah, yeah, not great. But you just what do you power through? You power through it. Oh my god. So 180 a pound 80. So in no, that's okay. I can Google it. I'm not brushed up on my pounds to dollars thing. But I know here in the States, um, gas is like $5 a gallon. 5.20 for premium. $1.30? Jesus. Well, damn. I should move over there. Take my car with me. Um, but yeah, gas is holy cow expensive. Um, yeah, like 5.20 a gallon for premium stuff, which is what I have to put in the vet. Um, so it was expensive. Although I don't think I used like a full tank getting there and back, so it wasn't that bad. And I don't drive often. I work from home, and um, I really only like go out to the grocery store, which is a 3-minute drive from my house. It's really most of the like really the only place that I go. Every now and then I'll go into the office, and that's like a 20-minute drive. So I'm doing pretty good on like gas and wear and tear on the car and all that good stuff. On so Houston Gothic, was that regular or was that premium? Because I know here in Florida, regular is like 350, somewhere around like 350 a gallon, which is absurd. It's a lot. And to be honest with you, like I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe I should think about getting an electric car. But with electric cars, you don't get that same rumbly, grumbly noise that you do with naturally aspirated V8 engines, which I love. Um, is what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'll like trade in the Jeep for like a used Prius or something. Okay, I think I'm gonna use. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna use my NARS foundation because it's a little bit lighter than my Estee Lauder. Whoop! Sorry. um, and the look that I'm going for is kind of like a gothy look. So we go for a little bit more of a pallor. And I promised that I wasn't going to talk about makeup, but I lied. So this is a great foundation because you can actually just use your hands to kind of blend it in. I'm not going to do that because I'm used to other techniques and it kind of weirds me out. But you can, and it's actually apparently designed for you to do just that. It's designed to kind of like work with the warmth of your hands and kind of just like meld into your skin and become like a second skin. I have tried that method before. I have not found a difference in its application, like versus using a brush. But other people have, and they swear by it. So who am I? Who am I to question what other people are experiencing? Premium grade. So 180. Okay, 235. That's not what Google says. Maybe I just entered it wrong. 1 pound. Oh yeah, I did. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. 1 pound is $1.30. So 180 is 235. You're right. I read it wrong. Also, I'm an idiot sometimes. So you'll. So that was like a really short recitation of my week, even though I felt like this week went by so unbelievably slowly. I think it just felt that way because of just feeling like an absolute piece of shit. Like, oh my god, it was so bad. I've never experienced that before. I've never been that weak where just like doing this was a chore. Like I've never. Like I run every day. I try and work out every day. I try and eat healthfully. Like that was real weird. I've never been in a position to where like I can't move my body when I want to move my body. Um it was scary. Not scary enough to go to the doctor. No, it was actually scary, and I almost did go to the doctor. I tried not to though, because I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't go to the doctor more often. I should. It's what normal healthy people do. So this is just gonna be like a super duper smoke eye. I'm gonna try not to fuck it up. So I'm only using black. And then like the TikToks that I'm gonna shoot later on, I think are just gonna be like acting TikToks. Those were the ones I did with the like the what's the word, red lipstick. That was those were super popular, and that was not even a character. I was just up there acting, and people liked it. So I was like, "Oh, I'll do more. Why not?" But more about that car show because holy cow, so cool. There were so outside there must have been 3 or 4 cars where it was literally they were just driving stereo systems. Like the car itself, like bless their heart, they tried to make the car itself look good, but it was like most of them were just like patchwork like RAV4s and like these early 2000 just like piece of shit SUVs with like you know 3 different rims on the tires and like terrible paint just like they looked awful but I mean they weren't supposed to look good. That wasn't their job was to transport the stereo system that was you like those cars could probably have powered an entire ass amphitheater. Like it was ridiculous. um so that was super cool, and they had a bunch of cars that were like stanced, and they didn't have a lot of exotics. Like I think I saw one Ferrari. They had a good amount of Porsches, they had a good amount of Mercs, they had a good amount of GTOs, of course, because you know that's its own cult. um I think I only saw like one Challenger inside. It was really cool though. It looked like a demon because they had so you know how the Challengers kind of had those like halo lights. Um, they made them red, so it looked kind of like a demon car. It was really cool. Oh, cool. See, that's cool. We've got like local those little local car shows. Those are awesome. I love those. We've got a couple of those here in our area. They're usually at like little diners. Um, one is like every Thursday at a Quaker Steak and Lube, which often hosts car shows and like motorcycle shows and like classic car shows and stuff like that. And they're just super chill. They're just they just come and hang out and talk about cars. Eat some good food, have some good drinks. This one is like those car shows, but on like I don't know, times it by like a million. And you just have all kinds of cars from all over the state, and all different styles, and everybody's super accepting of like all the cars there. Like it's not there's no like gatekeeping or anything. There's no like, oh my god, you did that to a Porsche. It's mostly like, oh my god, that Porsche looks amazing. That's so cool. Tell me what you did to it. And I really appreciate that. I like how inclusive it is. Um, God damn it. I just got um words. Words are hard. Just got a little smudge right there. Let's see if I can get rid of it. Ooh, I did. Kind of, mostly. Pro tip: when you've got shit on your finger, don't rest your finger on your face. Hey Jelly Queen, I am good. How about you? We are just here, just chatting. So chatty. Get ready with me before I pop off and do some TikToking, which I haven't done in a while. I just haven't like I've the sounds have been uninspiring to me. I think that, and I'm just kind of I don't know, maybe getting a little burned out on the cosplay stuff. I don't know. Um, More into recipes and like mixology and stuff like that. But I do have a bunch of sounds that I will be kind of using today, and I'm pretty excited about it. The thing about a smoky eye with black shadow, especially if you're not using like a black liner base, and if you have mature skin like me, is you miss lots of little places where your skin is all wrinkly and then it looks weird. So you kind of have to go back in and feel a in. Yes, I am about to have a good day. It is about 10 minutes to 1 over here. So after I do this and like the TikTok and we're probably tax time, so we're probably gonna have to do our taxes tonight and just finish kind of cleaning up the house, being adults. Being adults and all that good stuff, because over the weekend I was definitely not being an adult. I was definitely going to car shows and buying more anime merch that I really didn't need. And then I think there are one of the guys while I was there. I was like going to the bathroom. I was like, "Where's the bathroom?" And he's like, "It's that way." Oh, by the way, there's this other like car show that you should really go to. I was like, that was a really random thing to tell somebody who just asked you where the bathroom was, but okay. But apparently there's like an auction, um, where there are all kinds of really cool, really exotic cars that are up for option and show. And most people just go to see them. Most people don't go to actually purchase the cars. So I might go to that just to kind of see what's what. I oftentimes wonder how much I could sell my car for with a big cartoon sticker on it. Probably not for very much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am trying desperately to go for a super smoky kind of gothy eye look. And I think I'm pretty much there. Yeah. I'm gonna do my waterline. Oh, and you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what? That's very pretty. But I think I want blue. Yeah. We're gonna do like a dark blue shimmer on the lid. Cause it's pretty. And I use my finger just so I get a better payout. See, look at that. Look how pretty. And I'm just gonna kind of work that in. Actually, I'm gonna take some more of this black. I'm gonna work that in a little bit more because the makeup is starting to kind of crease. And I just want like a touch, really just a touch of this blue. Just so that it's very, very minorly present. But okay, so I'm gonna talk more about this car show because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did not spend the night, but part of me wishes I did so that I could experience the full thing. But part of me, the other most part of me is very glad that I came home when I did because I don't know. I just don't like being away from home. I'm a homebody. I don't like being away from my kitties and my dog. But so we like caravan there. I followed my brother in his GT350, and then I was followed by his partner and other friend in just like an SUV. And my brother had like another passenger with him, so I was just by myself in my Corvette following these guys, and we pull up to the vicinity because I got a hotel that was like, I don't know, 2 minutes away from the actual like venue area. And we got there early, and so we're like, oh, let's just go somewhere for lunch. Yeah, I get homesick. So one of our friends is like, oh, there's this people who's looking on his GPS. Oh, there's this place called, this, and that tavern. And I want a beer. And I was like, man, beer sounds good. Well, not beer, but like a cocktail. Sounds great. So we roll up to this place, and it has been constructed with like duct tape and gum, and like it's a literal shack, and there's only one car there, and it's like a 30-year-old Jeep Wrangler without an antiques tag. It was just a 30-year-old Wrangler. Like usually you see like old cars like that, and if they're not falling apart, they've got an antique tag, right? Because why wouldn't you get a tax break? No antique tag on this car. So like we all kind of rolled out, and I am again like I'm a small human being, but I was traveling with larger human beings, very large human beings. Like one of these one human being in particular was in the Navy, and he's like 6'5" or something, and like he's like a Viking. And we got out, and we were just like, oh, maybe we don't go to this. Maybe we listen to our survival instinct and go somewhere else. And we did, and we ended up going to local Miller's Ale House. Um, okay, so 4:55. Okay, wow, 11:30 at night. Holy cow! What? Where are you from, Jelly Queen? 11:30 at night on a Sunday, I imagine, right? 11:30 on a Sunday. Go to bed, ma'am. Okay, no, I probably should have just used my cheap stuff, but yeah, that's fine. I'm also using my laptop as kind of a mirror right now, which is also fine. Um, so yeah, we ended up going to a local like Miller's ale house. Anybody who lives in the United States is I'm sure knows what a Miller's ale house. This is basically Applebee's but better. So we roll in, and yeah, I'm wearing kind of weeby like e-girl style makeup because I'm driving an Etasha wrapped car. Like I felt like that was appropriate. And part of me, I was like, man, I really wanted to just like full on cosplay Nesco and show up to like roll up to this clean culture event and just like in Nesco cosplay, but I was informed that that would be a bad idea. So I just went with e-girl makeup and an anime shirt and my little Nesco hat and the like Tanjiro like earrings. Oh, South Asia, very cool. Whereabouts? That's I've actually I don't think I've ever spoken with anybody. No, that's not true. I have a good friend of mine was from Laos, but that's it. So that's very cool. Welcome. Um, so anyway, so I walk into the restaurant and I'm thinking, I'm gonna get weird looks because e-girl makeup is very particular. It is not subtle. We'll put it that way. And I was going in thinking I was gonna get people staring at me, and I did get people staring at me. It was mostly the waitresses. And all of them were like, oh, your makeup is so cool. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'll tell you something. Hell yeah. Yes, I do. I don't know if I give it back. I don't know if I would borrow it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry. I apologize if I was overstepping. So it made my entire day when they were complimenting my makeup. And I'll tell you something. Anytime I get a chance, and I see somebody who has put a lot of time into their makeup, I fucking compliment them on it because it makes me feel wonderful. And I try not to be weird about it. I try not to be like, "Hey, your makeup's awesome." I try and be not weird. Um, but I feel hell if it makes my day, I'll bet you it probably makes other people's day. So pro tip: you see somebody that's clearly put a lot of time into their makeup and you think it looks good, compliment them on it. Hell yeah. Make somebody's day. I'm all for that. I'm all about that life. I like making people smile. I hope I didn't just fuck this up. I feel like I did. We'll see. So this is just going to be a real, like, Dark Knight smoky look. Holy cow. That's fine. It's fine. I'm going to clean this up a little bit up with. Oh, I didn't mean to flip you guys off. Clean this a little bit up with some foundation. But yeah, stuff for something. I'm trying to think of what else we saw at the car show that was just like super neat. Oh my god! So I almost had an anxiety attack when I was there, which I don't often get. And it was because like I wanted to leave by a particular time. I did not want this because the show went from 4 to 10, and I didn't want to stay until 10 o'clock because I live an hour and a half away, and I didn't want to be having to drive back at 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. So I had no idea how to get out. There was not a clear like exit path, which makes me very uncomfortable. If there is not like an escape route at particular venues, I don't like being there. Or if I don't know what the escape route is, I don't like being there. I need to know where the exits are, and how to get to them. Mostly in case I want to leave early, but also in case of an emergency. Um, Eyebrows. What kind of eyebrows do I want to do today? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're just gonna do regular ass eyebrows, I think. So I couldn't figure out how the hell to get out because we came in through these big gates and they were closed and fucking locked, and then I could not see another exit anywhere else in the area. So I was like, okay, now I have to track down somebody and try and figure out how to get out of here. And this was at like 4 or 5 o'clock. This was like right when it started. I was like already looking for an exit. Because I like being prepared. And I, for the fucking life of me, could not find anybody who could give me a straight answer of how the hell to get out of it. And like, I am becoming increasingly like panicky. I'm like, how do I leave until like, am I going to be stuck here until 10 o'clock at night when everybody else leaves? And of course, it's going to take hours to get everybody out of that place that was in there showing their car. So I was becoming like increasingly like, so finally I went back up to the gate where we came in and I found a couple of security guards and I was like, I need to leave by this time. How do I do that? And they were like, that's a good question. I don't know. And I'm like, you are the security guards guarding the gate. Like, do you have keys? If you don't have keys, why are you in front of the gate? I didn't say any of these things to them. This was all an internal conversation with myself. And like ultimately, like one of the guys was like, yeah, just come find me. I have a key, we'll let you out. So I was like, all right, great. So at around like 6:18 p.m., I'm like, all right, if I want to leave by 7, this place is crawling with people, cars and people, and the main thoroughfare out of the venue is also crawling with people, and it's a single lane, right? Because all these cars are like parked kind of on this lane. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start making my way out now if I want to leave by this particular time, and ended up not having to have worried that much because I got right out. Went the wrong damn way. And was kind of admonished by one of the security guards. He's like, ma'am, are you coming in? I'm like, no, I'm actually leaving. He's like, you just went the wrong way. And I was like, okay. He's like, well, you just hang Yui here and get out this way. I was like, all right, cool. And it was funny because I had like 3 other cars following me who also clearly had no idea where they were going. But for whatever reason, they were following me because they thought I knew where the hell I was going. So I was like, oops. But yeah, I got out. I got out just fine. The drive home was terrible because there were like 3 accidents, but that's I-4 for you. I actually like driving. Actually, I didn't used to. I didn't used to like road trips and stuff. I like sitting for long periods of time made me uncomfortable. But nowadays, when sitting is essentially all I do during the day, it's not uncomfortable for me to drive anymore, and I actually quite like it. I like driving with the windows down, the music up. I typically like driving alone so I can sing without being embarrassed. And I have considered actually kind of, I don't know, going on like a solo road trip. Nowhere crazy. Like maybe just like here around the state. And obviously I'll be safe about it. Everybody will know where I am at any given point in time. But I always kind of wanted to do that. Just kind of like go off on like a solo adventure. Thank you, David. Thank you. You were listening. You understood the assignment. So yeah, I've been thinking of going back to the Keys. And for those who are not familiar with kind of this state and like all the cool spots you can go to, the Keys is a chain of islands right at the very tip of Florida. In fact, if you go to Key West, go to the southernmost point of Key West, which is the southernmost point of the United States. You are only 90 miles away from Cuba. Um, the Keys are really cool. The water is stunning. I mean, the water is like Bahamas clear, or like Cayman Islands clear. And the fishing is amazing. Snorkeling, of course, is great. And the food, like everything in the Keys is just really, 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 really tasty. Obviously, the seafood is beautiful and fresh, and um, lots of key limes, key lime. Um, Key lime pie actually has a very long history in the Keys. I believe it was in fact invented there because it's made with key limes. Key lime. Key limes are teeny, 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 tiny. They're almost the size of kumquats. They're really cute, and you see them mostly down in South Florida, like more than kind of up in the northern areas. But usually, if you go into really like any grocery store, they'll have like bags of fresh key limes. And I have made a key lime pie with fresh key limes, and oh my god, it's tart, but it's delicious. And a traditional key lime pie recipe is not baked. It is sweetened condensed milk, key lime juice, and I think whole eggs. Either whole eggs or egg yolks, I don't remember. And then traditionally it's topped with meringue, which is gross. I would much prefer fresh whipped cream. But the recipe was invented back before there was refrigeration, really much down here in Florida, which I cannot imagine. Cannot imagine living in the state without working air conditioning. I understand why the Spanish were just like to the French, like, take this shit. We don't want it. It's full of mosquitoes and very angry native people. We want nothing of it. I get it. It's a swamp. Ooh, my back. So the key lime pie recipe, traditionally you don't even have to refrigerate it, because the eggs are cooked by the acid, and the sweetened condensed milk is essentially preserved. It's a syrup. It's more sugar than dairy at that point. So they never really refrigerated it. But then again, probably didn't need to, because they probably ate it real fast because it's real tasty. And if you guys ever have the opportunity to enjoy traditional real key lime pie, I highly recommend it. You can make it with regular limes if you are so inclined, or if you can't find key limes at your store. I'll bet you, though, you can hop on to Amazon and purchase them from there. Yeah. I'm like, meringue is fine. It has its place. Not on top of a key lime pie. And it's really funny because that was like a huge source of contention among like traditionalists. Like they were like, no, traditionally it was whipped cream, and like the like historians are like, no, it wasn't. Where do you think they were going to refrigerate the cream to whip it? Like, it was meringue. It was egg whites. Eggs don't need to be refrigerated. Eggs do not need to be refrigerated. You learn something new every day. We typically do, but they don't need to be. And I don't think butter needs to be refrigerated either, so long as you keep it in like a sealed container outside on the counter. You could in fact make a key lime pie, David, even with the freezing temperatures. In fact, if you take a slice of key lime pie, freeze it, and then dip it in chocolate, you have another very common treat down there in the Keys, and that is basically a key lime pie pop. So you could probably just stick a whole ass pie up, freeze the whole thing, and then cover the whole thing in chocolate. Oh my god! Then you have like a big key lime pie cookie. I don't know. That's my brain. That's how my brain works. But yeah, so I have of course been to the Keys before, not often, but I have been before, and I've gotten to go scuba diving. At several of the many coral reefs, like within miles, like a small amount of miles, like 1 or 2 miles of the coast. And I've got to, go to the restaurants and sample their stuff. And there's this one restaurant down there. It's just desserts. It's called Better Than Sex, and all they serve is desserts, and dessert drinks. And one of their famous dessert drinks is basically just wine in a glass that has been dipped in melted chocolate and immediately flipped over so that the melted chocolate drips down the glass. You wouldn't and it's literally just regular ass wine. It's like Pinot Grigio or something. but the chocolate just does something to it. And they'll do like with white wine, it's white chocolate. With red wine, it's dark chocolate. And then if you're a fucking monster, you order wine with like milk chocolate. Ugh, don't do that. I say that as if like white chocolate is any better than milk chocolate. It's not even chocolate. Well, actually, I don't even know. Is white chocolate chocolate? It's got cocoa solids. Well, cocoa butter, not cocoa solids. It's missing the cocoa solids. It's got the cocoa butter. So does that just make it sweet cocoa butter? I don't know. Who knows? Nobody will. Nobody does. I'm sure somebody does. I'm sure a scientist somewhere does. I just am not aware of it. It's my shoulder. So like you see me like torque like that, my fucking shoulder hurts because I'm getting old. Malibu lime, like as in like Malibu liqueur, like lime flavored Malibu, which is a coconut cordial. It's a cordial, by the way. I had no idea. I thought Malibu was just coconut flavored rum. Apparently, it's a whole ass cordial, which I was not aware of until very recently. Malibu is wonderful in certain applications. I gotta say, I don't like it, and I'm trying to not become this way, but I'm kind of becoming a bit of a tiki snob. After doing so much research on it, and I actually purchased myself a book all about tiki cocktails, written by somebody who knows far more about tiki cocktails and the history behind them than I do. And according to him, a pina colada is not a tiki drink, and I was shook. I was like, what? Now he didn't cite anything supporting this statement, nor did he actually. I mean, he explained his thought process, but he didn't give like citations as to what this thought process was based on. Wait a minute. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'll retract that. He didn't state it within that paragraph that he was like trying to define a tiki cocktail. But later on in the book, what he does is he creates this like matrix of all of the tiki drinks, or at least 30 of them, concocted between 1930 and 1970, which was the golden era for tiki drinks. And what he did was he mapped out all of the ingredients within those cocktails and found out how often each ingredient was used. And based on that, he came to the conclusion that a tiki cocktail is constructed of particular ingredients, and the pina colada was missing those ingredients. So he was like, pina colada is not a tiki drink. I was like, wow, that's very interesting. Similarly, he does not think the painkiller is a tiki drink. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then he's like, well, the painkiller didn't come around until after the golden age of the tiki cocktail, and it's missing some of the key ingredients that these other tiki cocktails have. That said, both pina coladas and painkillers are served very often at lots of tiki bars here in Florida. Also, that said, I don't think any of these tiki bars, well, there are some that actually say like they have a portion of their menu that's just set aside for tiki drinks. They define the tiki drink, or the cocktails under, whatever that section is what they consider to be tiki drinks. I haven't paid attention, but I was talking to my husband. I was like, we should go on like a tiki bar tour around the state and like make notes and see like what do these guys consider to be tiki drinks, and is it different from what this book is saying, for research purposes, obviously. All right, so I'm very excited. I'm gonna be like a makeup obsessed girl for a second and show you my new bronzer. Now, oh my god, it smells good. It smells like coconut. Now, I post on Reddit pretty frequently, and one particular subreddit that I frequent is called Makeup Addiction, and I have been told several times by several people, not trying to be mean, they're just trying to give me some tips, that the bronzer that I had been using is too warm for my skin tone, and I don't disagree with them. It was just very hard for me to find a cooler toned bronzer anywhere ever, and it's even harder when you can't like go to stores and actually test it, because most of the makeup stores around me aren't allowing that anymore because of COVID. So I heard nothing but good stuff about this bronzer, which is Physicians Formula, but a bronzer. It's a drugstore. It's a drugstore brand. Now it's not inexpensive. I mean, this was $20, which is expensive for a drugstore brand. But this is my second time trying it, and I quite like it. It is not too orange for me, I don't think. And it smells amazing, and the texture is great. It's almost like a cream. It's almost like a powder to cream kind of a thing. It's very rich. Well, it's buttery. It's buttery. And it smells amazing. So I quite like it, and I think this is going to be my new bronzer. Nose schnoz. You know what? I think I've been doing this new thing with my nose. I'm not contouring it anymore because I suck at it. So I've just been like putting some kind of discoloration just on the bridge of the nose, kind of like how the characters from Arcane are drawn. Almost dropped it. You know, like if you like Google a picture of Jinx or Vi, they've got this like discoloration kind of on the bridge of their nose, and like this area right here is still light. I quite like the way that looks, and it means that I don't have to fuck around with trying to contour my nose. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm using this is not a bronzer. This is more, it's almost like a cross between like a bronzer and a blush. You can see the color. It's like a brown, rosy kind of thing. So that's what I've been doing, and then I'll like highlight right on the bridge and then right on the tip. Just the tip. So the tiki book that I got is called Minimalist Tiki. For those of you who are also interested in learning more about the history of these drinks, how to make the drinks, what equipment to use, techniques. The guy is super thorough. The book is like that thick. She a thick book. And the guy is not actually a bartender. He's not a mixologist. He's just a regular ass person. He's a programmer or something. And he just, for whatever reason, became interested, much like myself, in tiki drinks. And just kind of went down the rabbit hole, much like I'm doing. So I greatly appreciate that he's written a book about it, about all the research that he's done and all the experience that he has, because that means that I have to do less work on it. And I mean, the book is gorgeous. It's photographs in it are beautiful. It's very well written, and exquisitely edited. So I highly recommend it. See, I'm gonna having to go back in and fix. I don't know why this is doing it. It's creasing really bad. Usually, like just using concealer as a primer works, but I'm just getting tons of like creases here, and it's a little frustrating. So I think my next kind of foray into mixology is bourbon. One, I feel like if I'm going to be writing a cocktail book, I should probably have a working knowledge of spirits other than rum and gin. Two, it's popular. Three, it's apparently impressive when you order it in front of a bunch of old rich white guys. And I imagine that I'm going to be doing more of that as I become more, as I rise the ranks of where I'm at. Marketing and networking, yo. And it's a whole nother like area of mixology that again I find very fascinating and very cool. So I'm gonna start to try and get into bourbon, and I'm gonna start with Angel's Envy because that was very drinkable. I'm not gonna say it was delicious. I'm not there yet. Much like Scotch, apparently, like being able to drink Scotch is a flex. And I didn't understand it until this marketing thing, until I was like, shit, I have to order a bourbon in order to impress people. And I did. And I was like, I don't like it, but maybe I don't like it. I don't even know. I was just in my head. But like, it's a whole thing. Like it's like drinking Scotch is like a flex. Like it's a skill apparently. that one acquires. I have had Scotch before, and it tastes like motor oil. It tastes like what motor oil smells like, which is not pleasant to me. And I'm like, why would you? Why would you like intentionally do something that is not pleasurable? Like that is supposed to be like the only reason you would drink, two reasons, is to get drunk or to enjoy, right, the drink. So why would you like take away one of those and you no longer enjoy it? Now it's just to get drunk. So there are so many, like vodka. Just use vodka. You can get drunk that way. Shit. Moonshine. But the reason is because drinking scotch is a flex. Thank you. Thank you. I love it too. And again, it smells really good. And my favorite part is the highlighter. I'm highlighting my chicken bones. So bourbon. Yeah. I know what recipe, the first recipe I'm going to make is an old fashioned, duh. But the second recipe I'm going to make is what's called a Black Demure. And it is bourbon, lemon. It's basically a bramble with bourbon instead of gin. So it's like, and instead of cassis, it's blackberry. Cassis is black currant. Creme de mure is blackberry. So that's the other recipe. The first recipe is the old fashioned. The second recipe is the blackberry demure that I want to try. And fun fact, cocktail. Like you think of cocktail and you think, oh, it literally any mixed drink, any drink that's not just straight up alcohol, and that is what it means nowadays. But back in the day, like back in the 1800s, a cocktail was specifically spirit, bitters, and sugar. That was it. That's a cocktail. Now, at the time, obviously, there were other mixed drinks that were being served in bars, but they were in their own category. So cocktails was essentially an old fashioned, bitters, spirit, sugar. But they also served sours and flips and fizzes. And those are all different categories. Now, I don't know why over the years cocktail became kind of the overarching umbrella to describe any kind of mixed drink, but it did. But those other cocktail families, so the sour, the flip, the fizz, what's another one? I don't remember. Kind of like stayed and kind of blossomed into their own like broad ranging categories. For example, a margarita is a sour. Specifically, it is a daisy. Don't ask me what the difference is between a sour and a daisy. A sour is so sour, daisy, margarita. If it had like a table. Similarly, what else is a sour? A daiquiri. A daiquiri is a rum sour. So the components of a sour is a sour component, obviously. Citrus juice is usually what's used. A sweet component, which is usually sugar or simple syrup, and then the spirit. That is a sour. There are only 3 ingredients. Now, as the time kind of progressed, people started adding all kinds of cool stuff to it. Not importantly, but most popularly, an egg white. So a lot of the times when you see like a gin sour on the menu, it's going to have an egg white in it. And the egg white essentially just kind of mellows everything out. It gives the cocktail an amazing mouthfeel. And it just makes it delicious. And it gives it a really great foam on the top. I love margaritas. Nothing is wrong with old all right, I say that, yeah, nothing's wrong with old white guys. I promise. My dad's an old white guy. And I love my dad. Rich old white guys. Really just rich old guys. Rich old guys. Maybe even rich old women. I don't know. I've only met a few rich old women, and I am as uncomfortable with them as I am with rich old guys. I'm gonna spray my face with a setting spray, but mostly just to kind of bring some hydration back. One thing I don't like about that NARS foundation is it's a matte finish. It's more matte, even though it markets itself as like a radiant creamy. It's quite matte, and it's drying for my face, which is, with the cold weather we've got outside right now, it makes it even drier and not great. Okay, so lips. What am I gonna do with my lips? What do I have? What is this? What is that? Oh, what is that? I'm not familiar. So sometimes I forget that I have purchased makeup, and I don't actually remember having purchased this. I don't know what it. It's a very pretty color. Oops. It's like clotted blood. I like it. We're gonna use it. Oh my gosh, no, huh? It is when I say cold, I mean 60 degrees. That's cold for us here. That is heavy cabled sweater weather nowadays in Florida. And I believe since it is March 13th, that is the last of the cold weather we are going to see until probably January. I would love to be able to say that here in Florida we get cold weather around the same time that everybody else in the world does, but that's not true. Oftentimes, like by fall time, like Halloween time, it's still like sweaty balls weather. It's still like in the 80s, and it's uncomfortable. I'm probably gonna need a black liner, so we're gonna channel our early 2000s like chonga. Actually, I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use a better one. Chonga-ness. Oh yeah, fair. Yeah, I figured because us Americans are kind of dumb, and I wouldn't have known what you meant by 30 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. I am a like a typical American. Typical American. I don't know my geography. I don't know my metric system, and I don't know Celsius. Oh, you meant Celsius, so 30 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. I could Google it, but I'm going to line my lips now. Look awesome for you guys in a hot second. By awesome, I mean I'm going to look real weird. I am trying to emulate the lip shape that I had with the red lip look that everybody seemed to like. That's what I'm doing. I think that looks weird right now just because, hold on. There we go. Oh, did I just fuck it up? I may have just fucked it up, but we're gonna work with it. We're gonna see what I can do. 32 degrees in Texas? No thanks. No thanks. It's supposed to get down to. I think it's supposed to get down to 31 tonight. Nope, only 40. It's supposed to get down to 40 tonight, which is heckin' cold. And then tomorrow, this is why we're crazy in Florida. Tomorrow, the high is 80. Like the low last night was in the 30s. The low tonight is going to be in the 40s. The high tomorrow is going to be 80 motherfucking degrees. Like no wonder we're crazy. We're just our bodies are a constant state of shock. And I'm mad about it. This is hella glossy. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about this. This is working out not badly. Okay. We're going to do like another layer. The problem with this is that this is not transport proof. I have to be careful putting clothing on and taking clothing off because this is going to get everywhere. This is not, I would not say this is a lipstick I recommend going out in public in, and if you are going to be ingesting anything, unless you take it with you. This is basically lip gloss. That's what this is. But look how shiny it makes my lips look. And it's gonna get all over my teeth. I can see this. I can see this happening. It's gonna get all over my fucking teeth. Okay. All right. Actually, yes, this was a good decision on this lipstick. This lipstick that I had forgotten that I even purchased. All right. Stuff or something. I think I'm probably gonna wear a wig, my black wig, with this look, because again, I'm trying to be like kind of like gothicy. I have no idea what I'm gonna wear, like clothing wise. Oh, do I want freckles? Nah, we're gonna keep it. Freckles are kind of cutesy. I do not want this character to look very cutesy. Barkeep Chameleon. Hey there. I like that. Maybe that's what I'll name my bar. Barkeep Chameleon. I like it. All right, yeah. So shit. I think I'm done with this live. I will post obviously the videos that I do with this look onto TikTok, and onto the Insta. 68. Oh. Gotcha. Very balmy. 68 at night. I'm wondering if it's also probably pretty humid over there where you are. I mean, like you walk outside. Now, when it's colder like this, the air is nice and I'm not gonna go far to say it's dry. It is drier. But oh my God, in the summer, you're just walking out into water. Like it's uncomfortable. So it's so humid. But anyway. So that's the live today. I hope you guys had an okay time. Very chatty, get ready with me. Talking about health issues and car shows and trial and makeup. Not sure what I'm gonna do next weekend. What is next weekend? The thing is, like, we're getting so close to trial. So next weekend is gonna be, actually that's like St. Patrick's Day weekend, kind of. But that is the weekend before docket call. So I imagine I will still do my live. But I imagine my head will be in the trial game. So that's probably all I'm going to talk about. But I'll figure out what we'll do for a live next week. The week after that, I will not be doing live. And the week after that, I will not be doing live, both trial and I have a mediation course that goes all day. So I will not have the opportunity to go live unless I do it in the evening. And I might be too fried. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. I will certainly keep posting my regular content on all these different platforms. And then after this month from hell, I will be back full in the game for social media stuff and hopefully with some new content. So yeah, thanks again, you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and for those of you who are who it's late at night, sleep well. Have a good Monday tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.